Welcome back to this origami session. Welcome back because we left this workshop yesterday in the middle because of some technical glitch at Israel. We have had some cyclone there, and so internet and power communications all went off. We've had a fantastic heritage walk, and I'm just back from the Pichola Lake, and we are back into four walls, and we'll be talking about how to create form out of paper, a two-dimensional thing getting converted into three-dimensional thing. Over to Paul.
Thank you,
Paul
sir.
Jackson.
Hello, everybody. Yes, if you were here yesterday, I apologise. We had a bad storm and power cuts everywhere. It was unfortunate, but it's lovely and sunny outside today, so I hope that the electricity stays connected. Okay, so I think I'll kind of start again rather than just continue from where we finished. We did, I think, about 15 or 20 minutes yesterday. So I'll just, start from the beginning. To introduce myself first, my name is Paul Jackson. I'm an artist and I work with paper. I'm a trained artist, but I work a lot with designers and especially with architects. But my speciality is folding paper, which you may know as origami. But I don't call what we do origami. To me, origami is making models, making animals and flowers, a kind of Japanese, tradition of model making. What I do is I take a sheet of material, paper, fabric, plastic, metal, and somehow make a three-dimensional form from it by folding. Now, this is origami technique, but it's not an origami mentality. It's more of a design process to make a form from a sheet. And when you think about it, actually many things that we buy and use are made from a sheet that started flat and was somehow turned into a three-dimensional form. And there'll be a bit of folding in there somewhere. Maybe not very exciting folding, but there'll be some folding. So what I'm going to do today is to teach you some techniques of folding, so you'll be folding as well. And what you need, please, is some A4 paper, just regular copy paper. If you're in America, 8.5 by 11 is also good. If you have a notebook rather than this, or something you can use, it doesn't have to be, expensive or exclusive. It can be very inexpensive paper, even old photocopies or old handouts you have around. It doesn't really matter what you've got, providing you can fold them. And you're going to need, 15 or 20 sheets. I'm not sure. So just to talk a little bit more, because maybe people are running around getting paper. If you know my name at all, you'll know me from this book. Here's my, I'm freelance. I have to advertise myself. So this is my book, Folding Techniques for Designers, that became a bestseller. And it's in 11 languages, I think. So if you want to know more about what we're doing today, it's all in here and a lot of other information as well. And I have other books too, if you start looking online for my name. So that was my advert. And also, if you want to do a course, I've actually done a course for some guys in India. So if you go to www.themasters.in, then you'll find a course by me, and it's a folding course for designers. So if you want to do something afterwards, then you're welcome to go to themasters.in and find me and then book the course. Okay, so hopefully you've got some paper. So I've got my paper. Now what I need to do is move my camera so you can see my hands here on the table. So there'll be about 30 seconds of me moving things around. This is my famous high-tech, garden stick here that I hang across. And now this goes and I hang it on here, and I don't need to talk quite so loudly, just need to get everything kind of square and okay. So just move the wire up. Just bear with me a little bit while I get myself sorted out. Take this off, give myself a bit more light. And this is A4. Oh, good. I'm big now. Thank you, Sunil. Yes. Good. So this is my my A4 sheet.
Arjun, can you mute yourself? Arjun, can you mute yourself?
So this is my A4 sheet. Now, actually, A4 is a little big for this. We need A5. So A5 is just folding A4 in half, isn't it? So something easy to do, just fold in half. Now, what we're going to do is cut or tear down this fold. But before we do that, I need to explain two words. Valley fold. This is a valley. Turn it over. It's a mountain fold. But as you might have realized, I'm sure you did, it's the same fold. So valley and mountain are the same fold. It's the side we're looking at that makes it a valley or makes it a mountain. Okay, so what we're doing now is just flattening the mountain and folding the mountain as a valley to really, you know, iron this crease flat, and then we're going to tear it. So open it out, just a little tiny nick here at the side, and tear it. So, oops, carefully, just look. There we go. If we did it a bit rough, it doesn't really matter. Nobody's looking. Okay, so A5, we'll be using A5 quite a lot, so I think you'll be doing this a few times. Now, what I want to do is to build up, step by step, stage by stage, quite not really complicated, but, you know, 7 or 8 folds by starting with just a few folds. So we'll start with 2 or 3 and finish with 7 or 8. But if I start with 7 or 8, you don't know where it comes from. You don't know the origins and the ideas of this. So I start very, very simply, and then we'll get a little bit more complicated. Now, what I want you to do is to make any fold. So that doesn't mean do this in half or do that in half. That's easy, isn't it? So whatever you like, just kind of close your eyes if you like. I mean, don't make a little tiny fold in the corner. That's just, you know, being a bit weird, isn't it? So this. Okay, I've done that. Doesn't really matter what you do, but everybody copies me. Right? So we have one fold that goes from edge to opposite edge. If it goes from edge to neighbouring edge, that might be, you're not so. Okay. Yes, I've scrunched my paper, haven't I? But it doesn't matter. You see, working with paper, it really doesn't matter. Okay, now here's my fold. Now what I'm doing is I'm making a second fold, but I am not folding back on itself, because this makes a corner of 90 degrees and I don't want that. What I want is an angle. So if my fold is starting here, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, I can fold on this side on the right, or I can fold on this side on the left. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to fold, let me fold on this side on the left, just because it gives a better shadow. So something like that, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Now also, if you're trying something and it really doesn't work, then you've wasted probably 10 seconds of your life. You know, it's not like you're here all day and it doesn't work and you've spent lots of money. Okay, open it out. And this is what we see. Now I need to show you a little drawing here that we make. Okay, so can you see that there are 4 folds that meet here? Here they all meet. 4 folds that meet here. Looks a little bit like a bird's foot. Or to me, it's like a letter Y. Can you see the letter Y there on the paper? So what we have to do is to make all the arms of the Y mountain folds. So this is the stem, the leg of the Y. That's already a mountain. This is one of the arms, good. But this other arm is a valley. So I need to change it to a mountain. So I pick up the paper and just fold it the opposite way. Squeeze the paper, fold it. So now all of the folds, all 4 folds are mountains. But one of the folds needs to be a valley. and it's this fold, the fold that's between the arms, there like that. So this fold here, this valley, this mountain here should be a valley. So pick up the paper and just help it to be a valley. And when you do that, something interesting happens. The paper will collapse flat. Everything will fold flat. 3 mountains, 1 valley, fold flat like that. Can you see what I've made? That this will fold flat. It goes flat. If you've ever done any origami, you might know this is called a reverse fold, because this fold here is reversed from mountain to valley. So this is a very simple form, but actually I think rather beautiful. So the angles are really interesting. It probably stands up. You can't see that too well, but later I'll move the camera again to my little stage area. It's like a theatre set I've got. So we'll see these standing up. So many of them will stand up. Okay, so that's one. Let's do this again, just so we get the idea. So I'll put that over there to be used later. Okay, let's do it again. So second A5. First fold, edge to opposite edge, not edge to neighbouring edge. Just makes it easier. So this time I'll go long side, short side to short side. This. Okay, I'll do that. So that's what I've done. That's the first fold. Second fold is to make a fold that runs into this. It doesn't have to be in the middle. It can be towards the top or towards the bottom. You can choose. So I'm going to do it somewhere up here and make a fold like this. This is not 90 degrees. So I've got quite a few variables here, haven't I? I can change the shape of the sheet. It doesn't have to be this kind of rectangle, does it? I can have a square, I can have a longer rectangle, I can have a triangle, a circle, a pentagon, an L shape. It can be a wibbly wobbly shape. It doesn't matter what the shape is. Then I can put my fold, my first fold, anywhere on that sheet. And then my second fold can be anywhere that in relation to the first fold. So there are 3 variables here at least. So although it's a simple idea, there's quite a lot of things you can do. Turn it over. Now we're looking, oh, it's there. Yeah. So we have a letter Y. This time I've got my mountain here for the leg, for the stem. That's okay. But this time I've got that side as a mountain and the other side is a valley. So I need to change this little fold to a mountain. Pick it up. Give it a squeeze. There we go. So now all the folds are mountains. And if you look at my little drawing on the yellow paper, the fold between the arms has to be a valley. So here it's actually this long fold, isn't it? The longest fold, I think, has to be a valley. So pick it up. Just pop the fold inside out. And when I do that, hey presto, magic. The paper goes flat. It makes quite an interesting shape, doesn't it? Now there's no fixed shape. If you're thinking origami, you might think, oh yeah, a cat or a dog. It's a static, a passive shape. But this shape can open from the flat more and more and more and more and more. And all of these positions are valid. So you could fabricate this from 4 pieces and fix them together. Once did an exhibition, a paper art exhibition, where the exhibition designers made screens like this, so none of the walls were actually vertical. We had these about 3 or 4 meters high, these screens. So when they stood up, they made this extraordinary backdrop to the sculptures behind them. Looked really beautiful, I have to say. So this is different to the first one, but again, this will stand up. When you open it, they're quite a lot, it will stand. Turn it to the other side, it will stand. Probably yours does. No, this is not gonna. No, that's gonna fall over. It's not quite balanced. So if I needed it to stand, I would have to make it again and change the position of the fold so it would stand. If I really liked that,
just tweaking the folds a little bit would make it stand up. This is where paper becomes really useful, because you can do 10 variations in 30 minutes, yes? Just playing. So, yeah, that's not going to stand, but this will. But that's actually very stable. So we've got two different ones here. Look quite different. They're the same technique, but they look different because the first folds are different and the second folds are different on the two sheets. And there are so many variations on this. Very simple idea, but as a way of generating forms, I think fantastic. Very simple, isn't it? Maybe too simple for some people, but we're going to complicate it. So this is the basic thing we're doing. We're folding flat by putting the correct numbers of mountains and valleys and the correct angles in the right place. So let's complicate this a little bit. Take this off because we don't need it now. Take these to the stage and we'll see them later. So next time you need two A4s or 8.5 by 11, whatever you've got. Two sheets. And we're going to tear them both in half. You can probably do this at the same time. So fold in half to make an A5. If you've got a knife and a ruler, you can use those. Fold the crease the opposite way. Just dig your nails into the fold. Nick the edge, and then it should tear. Yay! Tearing is more difficult than folding. More stressful anyway. Sometimes it goes wrong, usually when it's supposed to go right. So 4 A5s. So we're going to make something now not with 4 folds. Well, actually, yes, with 4 folds, but we're going to do it in a slightly different way, a bit of a weird way, but it gives us many, many more options for shapes. So you don't actually need 4, you need 3 A5s. So put that to the side, 3 A5s. And what we're going to do is this. I want you to get a pencil or a pen. I'm going to use this Sharpie so you can see, but it's going to be quite dark. So if you want to use a pencil so it's a little bit more elegant, then you can do that. So you need to make a dot. Now, not exactly in the middle, because that's a bit boring, isn't it? But, you know, not near the edge either, because that just becomes weird. So somewhere about halfway or a third of the way between the center and the edge, just choose a point. I mean, it doesn't kind of really matter. Let's say there, and make a dot. Somewhere near the middle. And then you need to choose. So I might use a pencil for this, just so I can play a little bit. So you're going to make 3 lines. Now there's a few rules here. So one rule is don't go perpendicularly to an edge, because it kind of gets a bit boring. So I can go from here to maybe, it's okay. So the other rule is that the angles are between 90 and 180. So if I do a second line like this, that angle is too small. So maybe my second can go to about there. So that's my here, and then third one, I don't know, maybe to about there, maybe about that, yeah. So I've got 3 lines. So I'll put them in black so you can see them a little better. Okay, so they're sort of between 90 and 180, all the 3 angles. Now, if you look at what we did before, here's the yellow one again. This is like a letter Y, isn't it? We have our letter Y that way, our letter Y that way, but it's not symmetrical. This is a symmetrical form. What we're doing now has no symmetry. So we need to understand where this valley can go. Now this valley can go in this sector, or that one, or that one. There's a choice of 3. So the reason you've got 3 sheets is you could put it in different sectors. So just put the 3 sheets together carefully with the drawing on the top. So 3 sheets, put them together. Drawing on the top. And we're going to make these folds separately by hand. So just making sure they're together. You need to put some fingers underneath and just start to squeeze the paper and stop at the dot. Don't go beyond it. So once you've got it going, you can just make it strong. So that's my first fold. Now if you don't actually follow the line, it's okay. This is the second fold. So a bit of careful, making skill here. When I was about 7 or 8, my teacher at school used to say, "Do your best work, Paul." So that's what we're trying to do. Do your best work to try to get them meeting pretty well at this point. But even that's quite nice, isn't it? It's just easy in a way, maybe too easy, to make forms that are aesthetic when you use paper, especially white paper, with the light and the shade. It's a very aesthetic way of working, I think. So we have these 3 lines, which means we have 3 identical pieces. Yep, 3 identical pieces. Ooh. And we're going to put the valley in different sectors. So let's just label them so we know which is which. So I'll call this A, and this will be A, and this will also be A. Call this one B, 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 and this one over here is a C, surprisingly. C. Okay. So we know which is which, and we're not going to get lost, hopefully. Now, when we're working symmetrically, the valley continues the line of the mountain. This is one straight line here. This is one straight line. And it's a straight line because it was the first fold that we made before we made the second fold that made the arms. So left and right is symmetrical. The angles and forms are symmetrical on the 2 sides. But there's no symmetry here now. So let's start with this, and let's again just strengthen the 3 parts of the letter Y. So it kind of stands up a little bit on your table. So we're interested in the A section, to put a valley fold from this corner, this node, from this node to wherever it goes inside A. So what we do is this: pick it up, hold C and B, because we're interested in A, you hold the other 2, and just close A in half. Close A, just let the paper do what it wants. So you can see C and B, B and C, and you can't really see A because you make it fold inside. Just squash it flat, and again it will go flat. So it finds its own position. The valley finds its own position. So it's actually not a straight line. If you look carefully, this valley is a little off the straight compared to the mountain between B and C. So this is folding in half, flat. And again, we get these beautiful shapes that I'll show you later when we go to the stage area. Some of them stand up, some of them don't, some of them do this, some of them do that. They're all different. Oh, my focus has gone. Oh, there we are. So, okay, this is the first one. Second one is B, isn't it? We're going to put a valley fold inside B. So again, strengthen the arms of the Y. Now this time we need to hold A and C and close B because we're interested in B. Let me turn it this way around so we can see B. So I'm going to fold A and C to the outside and collapse B and just let the valley fold find its own position. Let the valley find its own position inside B and the paper will go flat. So this time, that's quite weird, isn't it? That's completely different to what we had before. Very different form to the first one. Very different. And again, this will stand up. It stands nicely that way. Will it stand this way? No, it doesn't. It falls over. So, but because there's no symmetry there, the four angles are equal, then makes it more interesting visually, doesn't it? It's more complicated, more unusual. There's more going on. Not sure it means it's any better than what we did at first, that was symmetrical. It's just a little bit more complicated, but it gives you more options, doesn't it? Okay, one more. Same as before, pick it up, strengthen the folds. Now this time it's C where we make the valley. So I think if you followed me this far, I think you know what to do. We fold C flat, make the valley somewhere in C, and it just finds its own position. You don't have to force it or correct it. It just goes by itself flat and like that. So now we have this, and again we have a very different shape. When we put them side by side, let's try and look at them with a kind of decent light. A, B, C, this is in B, this is in A. Oops, sorry, banged my camera there. So A, B, C, and they're quite different. The valley fold is in different sectors, A and B and C, and when we collapse the form, we get quite different forms. So because they're different, they do different things, don't they? They stand in different ways. They make very different silhouettes. So of course, as before, it can be flat, it can be a little open, a bit more, 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 a bit more. There's no fixed position. But of course, you can fabricate these from different pieces or make it in whatever way you want. You can 3D print it, you can do whatever you want. You can vacuum form, you can whatever. Any material, not just paper. So we're kind of rapid prototyping, aren't we? We're model making, we're generating ideas and forms very quickly just to see how they are. And I think, I find this, and my students, because I teach students a lot, I work a lot with design students, including architecture students. So, it's a great way to get forms generated quickly. Because people think, oh, origami, yeah, cranes and dragons, oh, they're really difficult, aren't they? Well, maybe they are because they're difficult models, but this folding idea is not difficult, is it? Right, so where are we? Now we've got 4 folds, but I want to increase that. Haha, joke, increase, funny. To increase that to 6 folds. Let's see what happens then. So put this to the side because we can look at these at the end. They're on the stage area. Put them over here. And we need some more A4. Well, I've got one already, but I think I need a few more. So maybe 2 more sheets, get myself prepared. 2 sheets of A4 or 8.5 by 11, whatever you've got, 2 sheets. Fold them in half. Tear them. This is the hard part. Maybe I should just buy A5 paper. Turn it over, fold the opposite way. go. Little tear at the edge, little tear. Oh yes. Oh. I always feel like saying sorry to the paper when I do this. Sorry I'm doing this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay. Now you might be asking, well, all right, yeah, this is all right, it's fun, you know, I'm enjoying this. Is there any real world use for this? Well, actually, yes. I'm British, so I know the V&A Museum, the Victoria and Albert Museum. I guess if you know design and, you know, the design museums, you will know the V&A, very famous museum. About 5 years ago, there was an extension built after about 30 years of discussion, 40 years even. Finally, there was an extension built at the back, and I was told by the architect herself, she told me herself, that they took the roof from this book. So if you go to the extension and you look up, you know, rather than looking at the special exhibits, you'll see folding, and in fact they called it the origami roof. And there are quite a few other kind of occasions as well where kind of architects have taken direct inspiration from folding, from doing what we're doing now. So if you think, yeah, very nice, but you can't use it, well, I think you can. Okay, so 4 sheets. Now we just need one of them. Just make a little supply here so we're not constantly stopping and tearing. Now this time, we're going to kind of break a rule. So let's see what that rule is. First rule is, first fold is just make a fold. So, I don't know, that doesn't matter, anything. But preferably side to opposite side, not to the adjacent, because that just gets a little tight. But you can try that, you can experiment with that, and you should, but not now, maybe later. Now, okay, what I said at the beginning was that this is your first fold, so you do not fold back at 90 degrees, because that makes a perpendicular, yeah? Well, let's do that, and it doesn't have to be in the middle of the fold here. You can do it towards the right or towards the left. So I'll do it maybe here. So I'm folding back, turning the paper back on itself to make this corner here 90, and then I can make a fold. So I've broken my rule, which you should do, shouldn't you? Yeah, learn the rules and then say, what rule can I break? What rule can I can change the shape. Oh, I can change the perpendicular. Oh, I can, you know, learn something and then break the rules. But you can't break the rules until you know the rules, can you? So this is why I think it's good to learn something, you know, sit down, shut up, learn something properly, and then say, okay, how can I make a mess? How can I change? How can I break the rules? This is what I encourage my students to do, to sit down, shut up and learn something, and then you can mess it up once you know what it is. You can't mess it till you know what it is. And I think, you know, sometimes people are too quick to think they understand, and then they start to mess things up. And it just becomes a pudding, you know, just a bit of a kind of, oh, shut up, Paul. Okay, now, 3 mountains, 1 valley. There is no letter Y, it's just, well, there is a letter Y, but the arms are horizontal. This 4th fold is a valley. Turn it to a mountain. So both folds are mountains, and they're both straight. In fact, even that I quite like, just this sort of bent form. Beautiful, aren't they? Very aesthetic. I mean, you just take a photo of that and wow, you know. Just the way the light creeps. There, you see that shadow? It's a beautiful shadow. And here as well, from just, you know, beautiful. sometimes I get my students to make something and not photograph it. The people have cameras and they just photo. They don't look. So I get my students to draw. So maybe they make something like this and then they have 15-20 minutes to make a drawing. So they have to really look. Maybe we use charcoal or something so you could really get a good, gradation. So to look at something is a reason to really the opposite way around. To draw something is a good way to look at something. So don't be afraid to start drawing things. I think these are just gorgeous. Now, we're not going to make one valley. We're going to make two. So the valley is going to go from the edge to the middle point, to the node, and then across to the other side. Okay, how do we do this? Well, first of all, you have to strengthen the folds. So one at a time, go around and strengthen them. Then you can sort of bunch it together. You see what I'm doing? I'm not really folding anything. I'm just curving and bending the paper. Now, it doesn't matter whether you make a valley fold here in these two segments, from this one on the left to that one on the right, or you make a valley fold from the top to the bottom through the node. So you have a choice this way or that way. Doesn't matter which. So you could do it this way, or if you wanted, you could do it in the other section. Now you find when you do that that you can kind of swivel this around. It wants to dance a little bit, left or right. So you can do that. That you can make the top edge touch the bottom edge if you like, so that this node has two edges together on the left and two edges together on the right, or you can separate the edges a bit so it's not quite so symmetrical. These will also separate on the back. So again, you've got a choice of whether you put the edges one on top of the other, in which case you'll have angles of 45 degrees either side of the valley, yeah? Or you can kind of almost randomize it. You can move it, swivel it left or right so that they're not together. So it doesn't really matter what you do first time, because you're just learning, aren't you? These are just, for the example. So, okay, I won't put my edges together just to be a little bit weird. And then press it down. So it's flat. And these two edges have separated, which means that my valley inside is not bisecting the mountains. And then if we look at the opposite segment, it's the same angles, isn't it? So this has given me a different form. You see that? Interesting, isn't it? That we now have 6 folds that meet in the middle. 4 mountains, 2 valleys. Lots of choices, lots of options. Very simple folding, isn't it? You can make this in 30 seconds. It's not like you're spending half a day and a lot of money and it doesn't work. You can just try things and try things. And that's the inside. Beautiful, aren't they? So let's see if this stands up. Usually when you've got one fold that runs into an edge, it will stand. Let's see. Yeah, and it's kind of bending over. Is it coming towards me? So, so as I keep saying, we'll look at these later when I move the camera to the stage. Maybe it stands here. You see I've got the same thing happening here. Just one fold. Will that stand up? Just about. Well, no. Maybe if I open it a little more, it'll stand. Yeah, just about standing up. You can't really see it, but it's just about standing up. So that way is, that's got a mountain and a valley running into the edge, but it still stands up. So we'll look at these later. If you don't understand what I'm looking at, then you will see later with some proper light and the camera in the right place. So yeah, that's how it works. So, okay, let's do this again. Put that to the side. Pick this up, another A5, and let's put it in a different place. Let's, just to be weird, let's go from from one edge to the adjacent edge. Let's try that. Let's just see. In fact, I don't know what will happen. This may be a complete mess. But let's see. So let's just try something. So that's the first fold. Second fold is to double the first fold back on itself. So where you make this second fold is entirely your choice, isn't it? You know, you can put it in the middle, you can put it towards the bottom, towards the top. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to put mine here. Not really sure why. And that means I've got angles of 90. Press it down and open it out. Now we have this cross that we had before and 4 angles of 90 around this node. So do you remember what to do? That this fold is a valley, but we need to make it into a mountain, so it should be a continuation of the other fold. So just fold the paper and the valley turns to a mountain. So we now have 2 mountains that meet at 90. Now they don't have to meet at 90. This is another rule you can break, isn't it? So the more we fold, the more variables we have. Do you understand that? That we start with just a few variables at the beginning of the lesson. So every time I show you something new, I'm adding more variables to it. So the choices become bigger, yeah? So you can be more creative, basically. Now, we're going to put one valley fold that goes from one sector to the node and across. So either top to bottom or left to right. It doesn't matter where you put the valleys. So where shall I put them? Let me put them, I don't really know. Let me put them from the top to the bottom. So just squeezing the paper together. Now before, if you remember, I separated my 2 mountain edges. I just swiveled this top one. But I think this time, just to be different, I'll put the edges together. So one edge is directly on top of the other. What this means is, then when I fold that, you can't see the fold, it's inside, isn't it? Oh, that's a bit more complicated. Then when you put the edges together, the 2 mountain edges together, the valley fold bisects the 90-degree angle at the node. So each angle, left and right, is 45. So we have a little bit of symmetry there, a bit of order in the chaos, if you like, which is maybe a good thing, I don't know. So we have that. Now, will this stand up? It goes flat. Will it stand up? I don't know. This may not. This looks like it's just going to keep falling over. I think, oh, actually, yeah, that actually stands up, but this this V in the middle is actually a void. It kind of stands up. I'll show you this later when we move to the stage. So just try and see if you can make them stand up. Sometimes they just about stand, and this is falling up. Yeah. So will it stand up vertically? No, it's leaning too much. You have to play with them. Play, play, play. Maybe that'll stand on a cut. No, it doesn't. No, so that's not really very successful. You think I know what I'm doing, don't you? Well, I do kind of, but you know, you can't design anything unless you fail all the time, can you? Nothing good anyway. So okay, let's try. Okay, let's keep that. So I'm going to try another one. Just, you know, try another one. Okay, put it kind of near the edge, and this time just yeah. Right. So this is my okay, and that's my cross. The valley I can turn to a mountain. Okay. So where do I put my valleys? Which Is it A or B? Isn't it? And I've got a choice of one or the other, and I've no idea. I don't know. Okay, I put them together again. The two edges, the mountain edges, put them together. Fold it flat. Open it out. Oh, okay, that took me 30 seconds. Yep. Wow, 30 seconds of my life. So again, you know, you got all kinds of lovely shapes, and this time it does this stand up? No, I'm not having much luck here. The first one was really good; it was fantastic, but this is leaning over more. So you know, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, and you just have to understand. I mean, if I wanted to, I mean, I know why this is falling over. So if it was a class where everybody was here for the day, then I would explain why, and everybody would start designing forms that balanced. But I think I'll leave that to you. There's not really time. Can't do everything, can I? Okay. No. Yep. No. But there's one property of this that we could not do with anything else that we've made so far. This will do one really magical thing. Because we've equalized the number of mountains and valleys, we can do something. So on this side, we have 4 mountains and 4 valleys. Turn it over, we have 4 mountains and 4 valleys. The only difference is that this point is convex on this side. It's coming towards you. Here it's convex. On the other side, turn the paper over, it's concave. It's going in. Convex, concave. Now they all do that. There's nothing unique about this. But because we have 4 valleys, 4 mountains, 4 valleys, 4 mountains, what we can do is this. So finger, here's my finger. So I'm going to push the concave point and pop it. Pop. Just a gentle pop. So now the concave becomes convex. And it's completely different. Totally different. Makes a very different form. It's quite amazing how that happens. That this pattern of 4 and 4 mountains, 4 valleys, has 2 states, either like this or pop the middle up, just push, 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 pop, or that, and they are quite different, and you'll probably find that one is more aesthetic or more useful or whatever than the other one. In fact, to me, this is kind of slightly useless. That's not really doing much that's useful to me. It doesn't stand, it doesn't really do much, but popping it, pop, then I can make it stand up. It's a more functioning form. So this concave, convex popping is something you can do when you equalize the number of mountains and valleys. So here we have 4 plus 4. 4 valleys, 4 mountains. You could also do it with 3 mountains, 3 valleys, 5 mountains, 5 valleys. You know, 6 and 6 is maybe too many. It just becomes a bit, too much. But certainly 3 and 3 is possible if you want to play with that idea. So for me, this is rather exciting that you can kind of pop things, inside out that you can't really do with the others. I mean, I can take this one. This is 4 mountains, 2 valleys, and I can try and pop, and it doesn't. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not bad. Well, actually, yeah, that's not bad. I quite like that, but it, more times than not, it doesn't really pop inside out with any benefit. But this seems to. Yes, again, you think I know what I'm doing, don't you? But I'm experimenting as much as you are. I hope you understand that. I mean, I know the techniques, but I don't understand what's going to happen in every instance when I start folding. So I'm learning as well, which is the best way, isn't it? It's not that you just copy. Oh, I know this. Oh, I've done this 1,000 times. Yeah, I'm learning as well, kind of improvising. It's kind of what did one of my students? Yeah, one of my students once called this origami jazz, because you've got a framework of technique. You know, you kind of know what the folds are that you want to make, but everything else is improvised, a bit like jazz. Well, actually, many other musics, but I'm a Western person, so you know, jazz is my reference. Okay, I think there's time just to do one more thing that's quite different, and then we'll go to the stage set that I keep promoting, because I built it 2 days ago. I haven't actually used it much. Okay, now we need a few more A5s, so maybe 2 or 3. Going to do something with curves. Curves, is that 2 sheets? Yeah. Going to do something with curves. So again, I'm improvising this. Now this is very kind of handheld. It's something your fingers make. So perhaps it's a little difficult. Some people struggle a little bit with this because it's so simple. It sounds a bit weird, but you'll probably understand when we do it. Okay, so let's make a fold. It doesn't really matter. Let's do something like that. I think I just did that before, didn't I? I seem to be doing this all the time. Okay, open it, turn it over so it's a mountain. Now, this is a mountain fold, and you know, this is all we can do, isn't it? Well, you know, we can open it here, but you know, a mountain fold is a mountain. You can't perhaps do a lot with it. And then one day I realized you could. And this is in my book, my Folding Techniques for Designers book. And what you do is this: you break the fold. So you take a finger. Now make sure, if your fold is very flat, this doesn't work. So you have to make it stand up a bit. Not a lot, not wow, really vertical, but you know, standing up quite a bit. And then a finger. Just watch what I do, please. Just watch me. So I'm going to push and I break the crease. Did you see that? Finger and I break, pop. I break the crease. And suddenly the paper bends concave. Interesting, isn't it? That it's a completely different form. Now, how do we sort of keep this bent? Because with this edge bent here at the bottom, it should stand up. See? Ooh, but that's not really stable. So how can we make it bend more so it stays standing up? So here is the technique. What you do is this. First of all, you make the break. Then you just gather each side of the mountain. Can you see that? I'm gathering it together. And you bring the two halves of the mountain together. And you can hold across the middle with one finger and thumb. And then you check that this node, it's a bit out of focus, is a good sharp point. And if you kind of just pull these here, it'll sharpen that node, it'll pull it to a point. Can you see that? That's a kind of point. So I'm holding, do it again, because it's all kind of in the fingers, isn't it? Just gather this together on one side, gather this together on the other side, and put them together. Just line them up side by side. Check that this node is a point. If it's flat, you can just pull these up, just pull them up one at a time, left and right, and it should make it pointed. Okay, so what we do now is this. Can you see that I've got two cones? I've got a cone on the far side, a cone on the near side, and I've got my valley fold left to right. So I take my finger and thumb, put my finger just below the node on the far side, my thumb just above the node here on the near side, and I squeeze a little flat pyramid with 4 mountain folds. It's only a centimetre or something, this pyramid. It's very small. Squeeze it flat, really squeeze it. Squeeze it flat. but only about a centimetre. So we have these nice cones coming away from the node, and it's flat for about a centimetre. Still holding inside, yep. Then fold across the base of that pyramid. So it's approximately 45, 45, 90, this little triangle. Approximately. And that's basically it. So maybe you've got to tidy up a little bit of mess or something, just help it a little bit. But that now stays together. There is a form. This is what I call one crease folding, and it's very stable. You can stand it up. Again, we'll look on the stage later. Maybe on this side, yeah, that stands up. These are beautiful forms, absolutely magnificent.
Well, can you repeat this?
Yeah, yes, it's some ways it's very simple. In other ways, it's a bit of a kind of ballet, a bit of a dance. So I'll do it again, certainly. Okay, I'll do the same first fold. So something like this was the first fold. Doesn't really matter where you put it. Okay, open it, turn it over so the mountain is standing up a little bit, not flat. And then any way you want, you break the mountain. So you can push with your finger and just snap the mountain like that. Then finger and thumb on one end of the fold, finger and thumb on the other end. Just double the layers here. Just sort of pinch there, left and right of that mountain, so it makes the paper more curved. And then do the same on the other end of the fold. Now, what's important there is that your node is a corner. So mine at the moment has about 0.5 centimetre of flat. It's not a corner, so I have to pull both halves, just pull them, and it will make itself a point. So that's now a point. This is a point here. My node is a point, a corner. So what I do now is this. So I'm holding it in two hands. I can't do anything because I've got no free hands. So I put the edges together and kind of hold them together. So this is now held in one hand, and this is my sharp node over here. So when you look at it, hold it. So there's a cone going away from you, a cone coming towards you, and the valley runs from left to right. Okay, cone away from you, cone near to you, the valley runs left to right. So there's two curves, a curve going here and a curve coming towards me. So with your free hand, finger and thumb, put a finger on one side of the corner, a thumb on the other side of the corner, and squeeze. So you make a flat triangle, only about 1 centimetre. Nothing very big, only about 1 centimetre. Can you see that? That's flat. Can I bring it to the camera? That's a flat triangle. Just about 1 centimetre. And then fold that forwards or backwards. It doesn't really matter. Just fold that flat triangle forwards or backwards, and it locks. That final fold locks everything, so it won't open. And then that's now locked. You see, I can let go. I don't need to hold things. It'll stay. So this will now stand up. Stand up. Okay, I'll do one more. Do something a little bit more kind of eccentric, maybe something like this down near the end. Turn it over, pop it. So do I pop it in the middle, pop it near one? Yeah, I'll pop it just there left of the middle. So now my two halves are not the same length. So it's a bit harder to hold, but I'll cope. Big boy, So I've got a, oh good, yes, I've got a sharp point here, same as before. Finger on one cone, thumb on the other cone, near the node, squash the paper, squeeze the paper, make a flat triangle. Fold the triangle to one side, and I've now got a form like that. And again, this will stand, it will do all kinds of interesting things. So this is in the book if anybody wants to learn this better. Now the other way to do this is using something like watercolor paper. I don't have any here. Where you just do something like this and then that. Then you wet the watercolor paper. So when it's wet, it's flexible. And then you let it dry. So you have to hold it with sticks or bottles of water so nothing can move. Let it dry, and it'll dry rigid into that form without squashing the little triangle. So if you want to do this more permanently, use thick watercolor paper that can absorb water, and then let it dry, and it will dry rigid into these curved forms. Now, what I want to do in the final few minutes, I want to put some of these onto my little stage set. So I'm just going to put this camera down on the table. Get rid of that wire. So, okay, that's just closed the camera on the table. Get rid of my famous garden stick. Get rid of my 2 posts here that I don't need anymore. This one, another one, and oh, here we are again. And put this on here. Okay, so this is my kind of stage set. Here we go. Yeah. Hello. So, okay. Yeah, this is. Oh, it's all mess here. So this is the very first one that we did. Here, you see that? So, I can, yeah, tilt up a bit. So you see how nicely they stand. Nice noise too. They're just beautiful forms. You know, you can imagine these big or small. You can imagine little people walking around. Just fantastic, aren't they? Back is different. It's so kind of dynamic and exciting, but really simple. Yeah. Or even just like that, just loads and loads of ideas and inspiration here. Try another one. This was one of the, what's that, 4 mountains and 1 valley. So my camera keeps going out of focus. Doesn't like things being put in shot. Oh, focus. Please. Yes. So that's more of a kind of pavilion, you know, shelter kind of form, isn't it? You know. Perhaps even other ways like that. You see that standing on its corners. Just amazing, aren't they? You know, you just kind of instantly award-winning, I think. I wish. You put one of the curved ones on. Wow. Beautiful. These have been made from large sheets of aluminium as a part of exhibition stands and also in shops as well. I've seen there's some guys in Canada are doing these. Yeah, this is the ABC one. So this is a bit more random. Yeah, no real symmetry here. Don't know if it'll stand up. Will these sort of? Yeah. Oh wow. Look at that. Yeah. So it's kind of just, you know, so many things you can. No, that's not going to stand. No, it's not going to stand up. But there's so many things you can find inspiration from it. They don't all work. They don't all look fantastic. Some of them look really poor, or just don't stand. You know, this is kind of struggling a bit. But if you play with them, then you'll find the ones that work, and you can develop and refine them to make them better. That's kind of falling over, but I think yeah, that will stand up. So you can play with these lots to see what happens. Take photographs. In fact, I think Sunil has an idea where you can send, make your own and take photos and perhaps send them by email to the festival, and we'll put them online or do something with them. Is that going to stand up? Not quite, but just beautiful forms. So this is what you can do. You can play with them. You can kind of refine them to get what you want. There are lots of variables here. I'm going to move it back to the monitor so you can see me again.
Paul, you can see the form here, which I was doing with you.
Beautiful. Lovely.
Yeah.
It's such an aesthetic kind of way of working. There's so many lovely, lovely things you can make, but you have to really play to get this. This is not something you're going to design in AutoCAD,
Yes. We cannot. This works well.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. But there's so many, many, many variations. And when you start introducing scale and color and context, all the real world things, then you've got so many choices and possibilities. Even with very, very simple folded forms, it doesn't have to be, complicated origami to be right. So, yeah, these are lovely.
Yeah, okay. So, thank you, Paul. It was a fantastic session. My prayers didn't reach the heaven, and we had thunderstorm yesterday. Otherwise, we would have had a continuation of today. I believe everybody did. In fact, in my office, in my UAF team is doing it by themselves. My whole staff is doing it, and we have so many forms. I believe we would have 40 forms together of one fold. Okay. That is
so you can put them somewhere in the office, make a little table, a little shelf, and just display them. So when people come in, they go, wow, show them off. Don't sort of just put them in the bin,
Yeah, okay. No, I already took pictures also on my mobile.
Okay. Good. Well, thank you, Sunil. That was good fun.
Paul, it was great. And how do we reach you? Now, can you just tell everybody about the book or the website that you have so that people can reach you? Yes,
the website's very easy to find. It's origami-artist.com. Origami-artist.com. If you wish to send me an email, then you can reach me through the site. And there's my book, my folding techniques book, and also the course, themasters.in. You can find a course I did there if anybody wants to do a proper course. So there are ways to find me and reach me. Even just, Paul Jackson Origami in Google will find me. I'm easy to find.
That was how I got to you. And everybody, you can just write origami dash. Paul, what is next? Origami dash
artist,
and you will find .com. Origami-artist.com, and you will find Paul there. You can reach Paul very easily. You can just fill in a short, small form. The way you logged in into UAF 2020. Similarly, just fill in a form, and Paul will get back to you with a lightning speed. That's how we could connect with Paul. And thank you, Paul, for this fantastic session. And
thank you.
Our token of gratitude is still on the way. Unfortunately, Israel is the only place where we could not deliver it in time, and it is still showing that it is on the way. So we have no clue where is it, but it will reach you. And I apologize again for waking you up early morning that day to ask about your address.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, never mind.
It was with a good intent. It was with a good intent. And so everybody at UAF, thank you very much for watching this origami session by Paul Jackson. He's one of the world's renowned origami artists, a paper folding artist, I would say, and not origami. And thank you for joining in. We have another show, another session with architect Anna Heringer at 3:30 IST, that is 15 minutes from now. Tune in or stay tuned in, and you will see a different kind of architecture or philosophy of architecture altogether in the next session. In the meantime, you have 10-15 minutes. Just log into Unbuilt. Unbuilt is live now. Just see Unbuilt. Unbuilt is live now. You can browse through our stalls, our sponsors who have helped us a lot in organizing this whole event. This origami session was particularly brought in by Fairmate. So thank you, Fairmate, and thank you, Paul. See you soon, and I hope you give a selfie with the gratitude token gratitude that we have shared with you. And once you get it, I'm still tracking it. I'll keep you updated. And thank you, Paul. We hope to invite you on one-to-one, face-to-face workshop very soon. Once this vaccine thing comes into picture. Okay.
Thank you very much, Sunil, and good luck to
Thank
you
you
and to everybody. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much. Thank you all for joining in. See you at 3:30 with Anna Heringer from Germany. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.